Okay. And we're on. We're back. Awesome. I'm going to give it just a second. I've been away for a couple weeks, so we haven't done our Sunday night lives. So I'm assuming people might be jumping on, remembering that we're this community that meets on Sundays. I'll give you, hey, Rafi. Hey, Jess. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jason. Danielle. Mindy. Good to see you all. Emma. Awesome. So the last couple of weeks, I'll let you know what I've been up to, and then I have so much. Literally, I wrote in my meditation time earlier, what did I write? What do I want to teach? And like so much came in. So I think there's been this buildup of things that I've been wanting to come through as I've been away. So I'll let you in on all of it. We'll go through it. But I just want to talk about where I've been. So the last 2 weeks, I'm trying to think. We had a women's wellness retreat in Lawrence, Kansas. Beautiful. We'll be doing another one. It's actually the last weekend in October. It doesn't interfere with Halloween, and we have 2 spots left just because it was so amazing that most of the women are coming back. Hey, Jen. Hey, Karen. And then we were at the lake. So I went from retreat to Beaver Lake. This is all like back to back to back. And then, yes, Jess was there. It was amazing. And then from Beaver Lake, Arkansas, I flew out of Arkansas, made it to Maine somehow. I woke up that morning at 3:33 and looked at my phone, and I just heard, and we are with you. And it was literally like a miracle that I made it to Maine. I barely made my flight because the airport was backed up, and it's not like boarding in Kansas City if you guys are local. And then, so I got on the first plane, and as I'm sitting down, it was like my connecting flight had been canceled. And I'm a firm believer, and even more so, that anything we want, we create for ourselves. And the airlines are like, nope, you're not going to make it. And I was like, I could get to Boston and drive from Boston to where I was going in Maine. So that's what I ended up doing, and I made it. And it was literally all because I conceived it in my mind, made it there. And then Jeff, thanks, babe. You made that happen. So made it there. I was at a mastermind for that my mentor Kate Northrup runs. It was amazing with other really successful entrepreneurial women, and learned a ton. You can watch my video on my feed about how I had like autoimmune disease all over again when I was there, because it was so much high frequency energy blasting literally the shit in my body that had been there for God knows how long out. And I do the work, right? But it was like in that container of high frequency women, my body's like, this doesn't belong there. And it was intense. Hey, Cody, good to see you. So I'm back. I'm feeling a lot better. That had been the last 2 Sundays. So now I want to teach a little bit more on, I posted about it today, but how anything can be healed. Literally anything can be healed. It starts, all of our illness starts in our consciousness, energy field, and then it goes to our physical body. So I'm just letting this come through. There's going to be a lot. We are just energy. Let me break down. We're going to do a little bit of teaching, and then we'll go into healing. And then if you guys want a reading, actually, I'll let you pick tonight. If you want to do just like a second of group healing and go straight to some readings if people have been waiting, we can do that. I'll take 2 tonight. Or if you want to do more healing, go ahead and put in the comments what feels good. Group healing and readings, just healing, just readings, what y'all want. Just let me know. Let me break down what we are as energy. And if you know me, you know when I start to run out of breath like this, there's a lot of energy coming in. Hey, Jess, good to see you. And Christiana, awesome, cool. So I'm already running out of breath, already a lot of energy moving through. But let me break down when this came to me. And I literally referenced a book today called Anything Can Be Healed. But when we understand ourselves, when those who are in the medical model think like energy medicine or energy healing, like we're a bunch of wackos, and that it doesn't make sense on a physical level, and it doesn't make sense on a medical model, but it does. The energy model and the medical model, they run together. They are the same thing. Energy is science. I like the woo, and I like all the things that we can't measure and aren't tangible when it comes to spirit, God, goddess. But oh my gosh, energy is so measurable, and it comes from physics. So everyone here probably knows what an atom is, right? So in atoms, we have particles. We have protons, electrons, and neutrons. If you take an atom and you look what's in an atom, atoms are so small we can't see them. Protons, electrons, neutrons. Now, these particles are in the protons, electrons, and neutrons. They have particles that I can't pronounce. I think some of them are like gluons. Any quantum physics or just really well-read, well-versed people in this might be able to speak to it. But in the atom, proton, electron, neutron, in those particles, in the neutrons, there's more particles. In those particles, it's just tiny white holes or tiny black holes, okay? So you're following me here? And in those little spaces in the cells, quarks, Jeff, you know about this stuff? I don't know this man that I'm engaged to. Whatever, babe, thanks. If you could come and educate us after this, that'd be great. So in the quarks, in the gluons, there's tiny white and black holes. In our particles, there's no matter that actually touches. It's just space. So atoms to molecules, patterns of atoms make patterns of molecules that make patterns of cells, that make patterns of tissues, that make an organ. And our organism, the human body, is made up of organs. So let's trace that back down the other way. Organism, human body, made of organs. Organs are made of tissues. Tissues are made of cells. Cells are made of molecules. Molecules are made of atoms. Atoms are made of protons, electrons, and neutrons, which are composed of what Jeff said, quarks, gluons, and whatever else is in them. That is just space. It's just energy. Tiny black holes, tiny white holes, it's just energy, right? If it's just energy, none of our cells actually touch. Illness is blocked energy. Anything can be healed. Now, everyone has a relative, a friend, a family who's like, but they didn't heal, Jen. So there's two reasons, and this comes from really deep spiritual knowing and time spent with God, and this book, Anything Can Be Healed. But there's really two reasons for illness, or two reasons that we don't heal. One, our life's mission is complete and God calls us home. Two, and the most common reason, other than medical brainwashing, is we get in a situation where it's so difficult that we believe that the only option is to suffer or to die. And that's why we don't heal. And most of the time in my practice, I can't tell you how many times I get on a discovery call or in a consultation with someone and they say, Jen, I just think it's God's cross for me to carry to be sick. The most common example, and y'all, I come from the Bible, so like I'm going to speak to this, whether the Bible means everything to you or the Bible means nothing to you. This is really important. They say it's just like Job. Like I'm just meant to be sick. I'm meant to carry this cross of illness. Hold on. Okay? If the Bible text is sacred to you, then understand, what did Jesus say to the man by the pool? He said, pick up your mat and let's go. He's like, do you want to be well? And the man goes, yeah, I do. It's the ultimate healer. Yes, I do, Jesus. And Jesus goes, then pick up your mat. He goes, then do something first, right? So it's not God's plan for us, I promise, to be sick, to suffer. It could very well be God's plan to call us home with him, but to not be in our sovereign power, to not heal, I promise you, is not God's plan. To allow a disease to just run its course as we sit back and say, doctors told me there's nothing they can do, is not God's plan. If you do nothing, you won't heal. If you do something, even one tiny thing, you will heal. So think about it like, we always go to worst case scenario. We'll talk about autoimmune or chronic illness in a second. It's a terminal diagnosis, right? God's plan is not for you to suffer. God's plan is for you to be sovereign and to be able to heal. So even if it's a terminal diagnosis, if you did nothing, you won't heal. If you do something, say you do just energy healing, your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual body will be healed. You can heal relationships. You can heal your energy. At the end of the day, at least, your passing would be very peaceful. But even more likely, if you just think of a terminal diagnosis and you just started with energy healing, you're going to shift consciousness, you're going to shift energy field, you're going to shift physical body. And more likely than not, you'll start to shift and heal your root cause, and then understand that you can live symptom-free. So for autoimmune disease, thank goodness, it's usually not a terminal diagnosis, but it feels terminal. You still have mortality awareness when it's chronic illness, because you're like, I'm not living to my fullest caliber of life. Like, I'm not living symptom-free. I'm not living as good as I can want to feel, right? And when we shift the consciousness, the energy field, we shift the physical body. So for example, with autoimmune disease, when we're talking about like, well, how does the energy field, remember, medical model, Western medical model, energy model, they run parallel. They exist like this because they are the same thing, but they're just not taught on that energy and the medical model run completely together. I'll give a couple examples. My example, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, thyroid completely shot, like 25 years old, 20 years old, doctor said, we'll just remove your thyroid, we'll remove your uterus. My body was like, screamed and ran out of there, never went back. I had no idea about any of this energy functional medicine. I was as like Western as they get, non-crunchy as they get. But something in me said, don't listen to that. Years later, when I found functional medicine, I learned about foods, I learned about supplements, right? Years later, when I understood energy medicine, I saw why it happened in the first place, right? So I had an Epstein-Barr virus that had to pick a weakened energy center. Remember when we went through the particles and we talked about how human bodies are just atoms, which are just space, which are just energy. There's a blockage. Illness is just an energy blockage. Thyroid became weak because I, growing up, was in a situation where I wasn't able to speak a lot of what was going on with me, right? And so we all have been through and have something. So when we address our energy field, we can address the physical body. Okay, so a couple other examples of the medical model and the energy model running parallel together. Have you ever, like how the physical body and the energy field are together? Have you ever had goosebumps? Like you just like felt something like a knowingness, an intuition, a synchronicity, a coincidence, right? There are none, but call it that. And you got goosebumps. That's energy world meddling with the physical world. Okay. Or what about phantom leg pain? That's like classic. People will get a leg amputated, an arm amputated, and then they literally can still feel the organ. That's energy field and physical body interacting. They run parallel, and we must be fully in our physical body to experience consciousness, to experience, yes, visceral reactions, Emma, to experience our energy field. And for me, my journey started just physical because I hadn't yet stepped into the energy, the trauma healing to be in my physical body. So give yourself grace, or whoever you're thinking of, like, oh my gosh, they need to listen to this, right? They might just not be there yet. And those who think it's their cross to carry, that God's plan for them is to be sick, they'll get there. Sometimes if they're not willing to do the physical things, like the diet change or the supplements or the infrared or cryotherapy or whatever, they might be willing to do the energy pieces. Just have a conversation about it. Read a book. Energy healing, meditation, take a yoga class, whatever it is. Literally, anything can be healed. So I'm going to break down, before we do the healing, one more time how illness is just blocked energy and how the medical Western medicine model is scientifically congruent with energy healing and energy medicine. And when we understand this, when we take 30, 40 minutes out of our Sunday night to show up to something like this, or a private energy healing session or an energy healing retreat or whatever, then we have that confidence of what I'm doing is not just a figment in my imagination. It's actually something that's going to be healed. Okay, so atoms, the smallest particle we can think of, are made of even smaller particles, neutrons, electrons, protons, I forget. And those are made out of gluons and quarks, whatever Jeff said. And there's one more that I don't remember. But they have 3 even smaller particles, and those particles just break down to tiny white holes or tiny black holes. Okay? So if we think of what a body is, a body starts at the smallest unit, patterns of atoms, which are just space. Atoms don't ever actually touch. They're just black holes and white holes. They're energy. So a body is atoms, which goes to molecules, which goes to cells, which goes to tissues, which goes to organs, which goes to organ systems, which goes to organisms, which is our human body. If we go back down the other way, human body is atoms. Atoms is made up of energy and space. We are just energy and space. So disease is an energy blockage. That's how, if you look at my post from today, it has a good graph, but it goes consciousness, energy field, physical body, how to heal, remove the tension, remove the blockage in the energy field. It takes care of the physical body. I promise you, this is the easiest and quickest way to heal. Food is so important, but it's not everything. And it won't begin to touch some of these issues. And to be honest, in my practice, it pains me when people, for whatever reason, don't want to do energy healing or don't want to look at the energy body. It can be religious, could be just ego, could be they don't know enough about it. And they're like, I don't want to go there with the energy stuff. And I'm like, this is literally the thing that will save your life. And they'll be like, well, what if I try this different diet or this different supplement? And I believe in God's greater plan for them, and they're still coming to me, 9 months, 12 months. And I tell them every single time, I am happy to see you and talk to you about your food and your supplements, but I will always have the conversation about your energy field. And they're like, I don't want to hear about the woo. I'm like, it's not woo, it's who you are as a person. Because if we're not looking at our energy field, we're not fully healing. Okay. I think that's all. Did that make sense? Will you guys let me know in the comments? That was a lot of energy moving through me. I can breathe now, so it's all gone. I wrote most of this down, but literally I sat down today and it was like, what do I want to teach? And all of this came out. So thank you, Spirit, for letting this come through me. Okay, I'm going to go back through the comments. What do you guys want? Do you want group healing and readings, one or the other? Does not hurt my feelings. Just let me know. Healing. Cool. Yes, Jess, you had a miracle flight too, literally. Angels fly with us. Okay. I think we're good. I'm glad that it made sense. Sometimes I prepare these things that I feel like God wants me to teach, and I get on here and I'm like, I don't know what I just said. I hope it made sense, but okay, let's do a healing. So now that you kind of you're charged up in your conscious brain about this energy stuff is real and you can prove it under a microscope, and I'm not just into the woo, into things that don't exist. Let's play with our energy field for a second. And then if you are needing personal guidance or support and you want to come on after, I think I'm going to take someone new today. So if you haven't, come on, and then we'll be back next week. Next week's my birthday. If you want to join me for energy healing on my birthday next Sunday, that'll be really fun. I'll make it a big deal and make everyone feel like they have to come because it's my birthday. I'm just kidding, but I will post about it. And we'll be back on every Sunday until for a while. I don't know the last time we'll be out of town, sometime in July. Okay. Now I can't breathe again, so we should probably do this. Let's drop into our bodies, and then we'll figure out what's to come after. Get in your comfortable space. Remember, we just have to get into our body to work with our energy field. Awesome. I love everyone that's new on here. Sorry, I was just catching up on the comments. If you are new, you are so welcome. You can doubt this the whole time. You can be like, this is weird. Do it. The energy will blow your mind. Okay. So wherever you're at, sitting or lying down. If you're driving, keep your eyes open, but you can still have a subconscious experience. If you're cooking, if you're driving, it just is a little bit harder because you're having multiple sensory inputs. So just taking a moment to drop in. I like to bring my left hand to my heart and my right hand to my belly. A position of connection and surrender. Your heart's knowing and your gut feeling, your gut's knowing will be the most truest things about you. You can trust them. Those of you who are like, I need something, let this be your something tonight. Fill your breath up with air, or your lungs up with breath, whatever it's called. Let's do a few breaths together. So inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath here at the top, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for just a second. And inhale. And hold the breath here at the top. And exhale. Sigh it out. No one can hear you through the phone. Let the breath out and hold it. Observe the empty space here. And take a deep belly breath in. Breath is energy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold it here. Exhale, use sound. 1, 2. The only way to move energy is breath, movement, sound. And hold the breath here at the empty, deep belly breath in. Breathe through your nose, big and strong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath here at the top. Let it build all the way up. Now let out a sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. I'm smiling because Jeff always laughs at me when I do that before bed. And inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Hold it here for a little bit longer. This will be our last one. So let out a big sound in 1, 2, 3, 4. Sound, breath, let it all out. Good. Now come to your sits bones. So if you're sitting, feel your sits bones. If you're standing, feel your feet. If you're lying, feel your spine. Notice where you're anchored into the earth. Where you're supported. Where you're held. And I want you to ask your body to show you right away, where do you want me to look? And instantly, it's like a tender little whisper. Where in your body starts to light up? For example, for me, I'm feeling ovaries. It's really, really subtle. It almost feels like the faintest, like menstrual cramp. It's so light. Listen to where in your body you're feeling. Just take a breath, breathing into that place. Okay, now that your body has located the place in the physical, so allowing your awareness to slip out just like 2 inches around your body. Allowing your energy to go out away from the body to connect with your soul. Your soul is an energy or a consciousness that expands forever. Your soul was created from God's own energy field. So you can just feel that connection of how expansive your energy is, but it's just condensed a little bit in this physical body. Take another deep breath in. Sigh it out. Now, using this physical place that's been located, take your hand close to it or on it if you can't reach it. Just make that connection. Just survey with your hand at the level of the physical body what it feels like. Now asking your body for any subconscious, the subconscious reads the energy field. So can the subconscious show you any colors, textures, images, shapes? It's like when you dream. When you dream, you're in the energy field. You're not in the body. Now you're receiving something, even if you're like, I'm not getting anything. Yes, you are. Tune in. You're probably brushing it aside. It's probably very obvious. The color green, this thought of my mom, this memory, that's the thing. It's not going to hit you on the head. It's just going to be like tiny. And you're going to have to trust it. Take another deep breath. Let it out. Relax your body just a little bit more. Drop your shoulders. Release any tension in your jaw. Just say to yourself, energy healing is easy. You're connected to the physical body. And now you're just listening to your energy field. At the level of the protons, neutrons, electrons, tiny space there, there's a blockage. Ask to see this blockage. Ask to see how it got here, what it looks like. And how it's affecting your life. Take a few more breaths here and then we'll come out of it. Your guidance for any last little bit of energy or messages that you need. As you come back, I'm just going to provide an illustration for those who are new of what this was like for the first time for me. First time I tuned into my energy body with physical disease still happening, I was brought back to a time, remember mine was thyroid, throat, where I just felt like every time I would go to cry, I just would feel this lump. Or every time I would get upset or angry or frustrated, I would feel a lump. And I thought it was just normal. I mean, it can't be. But it was just this chronic lump that I almost walked around with all the time. And through this meditation process, I was just shown that I was feeling it. And it clued me into a blockage there. And so like today when my ovaries lit up, I wasn't able to tune into my body and guide at the same time. But I guarantee you it would go into what I'm working on right now with my feminine energy and my creative energy and feminine manifestation and egg wisdom and lots more on that to come. But you're going to get little clues. And you don't have to figure it out all in one energy healing session. But just by bringing your attention to something, there's healing. It's called somatic awareness. When we bring attention to something, we bring healing. So taking this 5 minutes that we just did this, you brought healing. Okay, so what I would like to do is, if anyone new, you're going to have to click request to join or comment. I would like to join. If you need some help, if you're like, I don't know what I felt, I don't really know what to do in my body, I can do like an intuitive reading for you and help someone's throat so I can feel it. That's how my gifts work, is I'll feel it in my body or I'll see it when the spirit speaks to me. So if you need some help and you're feeling brave and you want to come on, or you just want to write a comment if anyone has questions, or if someone had a really profound experience with this and you want to come on and share, even if you're not new. But anyone who, I know when you're new, you're like, the last thing I want to do is come on camera in this community, but it's a safe place, I promise. And we'd love to have you join. So, and in the comments, I'd love to hear anyone. So what came up for you guys? Do you have questions? Do you just want to say it was my throat? It was my foot? It was my back? What was it like for you tonight? And while you're commenting, and we'll give some space if anybody wants to come on, I want to talk about just a couple of opportunities we have coming up. So one immediate thing, I am hosting a webinar that's energy principles for entrepreneurs, business, side hustles, dream jobs. It's called Functional Medicine for Nurses, but it's for everyone. We have teachers, healers, therapists, just business women joining us. It's Wednesday, June 15th, 6:30 p.m. and it's every month for 4 months on a Wednesday at 6:30. If you want the replay to even just one of them, go ahead and join us. Purchase all 4 tickets. It's $20. And then these recordings are going to go into a course that the replays will be sold at a much higher price point. So to join me and to be and share your energy, that's just my thank you to make it super low cost. But it's not what you do, it's how you do it when it comes to energy in our work. So it's not what you do, it's the energy you do it with. So like when today is actually my 3-year anniversary of when I knew I was going to leave my job and start my business. I clocked out at 3:33 on June 5th and I just saw it. I just knew it and I had no safety net. So we'll talk about some of that. We'll talk about like when there's a brewing of energy within you, how to make it into actually a tangible, lucrative, abundant career. But whatever you're doing, it's not what you're doing, it's the energy you do it with. So it really matters the work you're doing now, whether you're a mom or you're working somewhere that you hate and you want to get out, it's the energy you do it with. 2 more things. Energy healing certification course. If you want to be a healer or if you want to be a closet mystic healer the rest of your life and you just want more of this, October 6th, 7th, and 8th, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday afternoon for 4 to 5 hour chunks. We're going to be doing a certification for energy healing level 1, and you're going to learn all the things. And this will be great. It's not Reiki, and I think this provides a really unique opportunity, what has just channeled and come through me, for other people to learn energy healing in a way that's not branded. It's just like, it's like God's energy healing. I don't know what else to call it. I've never taken a training, but this is just what's been given to me and I'm ready to share it. And then we're going to have the second part of that on our Yelapa retreat in January. So stay tuned. Just know if that interests you, send me a DM. The October course is filling up, and then the Yelapa retreat will be pretty easy accessible because not everyone will probably be able to join us there. So, okay, I think that was all I needed to share as far as updates. Emma said mine was orange in the abdomen, bringing up worthiness stuff. I love that. So our root is our first energy center is our relationship to our environment. And then our second energy center can be like our relationship to ourself, our relationship to our expression, and then third, our relationship to our power, other people, etc. So I'll teach more on that in the course, but that's beautiful. And right in that area is typically an orange hue. Okay, Christiana, you said, I don't believe I was able to see colors. However, I initially felt warmth in my foot, then a sensation in my lower abdominal area. That is perfect. So I promise you, when we're working with energy and our intuition, there's so much going on. I still do this. Like intuition will come in and I'll go, that's not the thing. And it is the thing. So it starts as something pretty visceral or pretty noticeable, like warmth. That's like the energy being like, hey, you can trust this. And even if you tune into that, like after we close this live, if you close your eyes, set a timer 2 minutes and feel into those areas, I promise you, you'll start to feel more. Your intuition might come in as like a scene, a knowingness, a memory. There's so much more there. But those are your 2 areas. And if it feels like a lot, to start with 2, to say, body, give me 1, right? For me, it kind of feels like maybe it's abdomen for you. That's perfect. You did it. We'll be back here every Sunday at 7. So as you, Christiana, as you get like a taste for this community and see that it's safe and that you can always come on live, and we all kind of chime in for you. It's really cool. Like you'll come on and say, I know this is what I've been dealing with, and we have a lot of intuitives and healers in this community, so they'll be commenting what they're feeling. It's really nice to get some insight in from a community that means well. So you are so welcome. Okay, well, how about this? Next week we'll be back. It's my birthday, same time, same place, so I want to do a little bit extra. So if you have any questions for energy, or if you're like gung-ho, like next weekend you need a little reading for yourself, I would love to bring you on. I can say we'll probably be on the full hour, would be my guess next weekend. So if you've been wanting a read, if you've been wanting to come on and you're not new today, then next weekend will be the time. And if you are new, I'm sure we'll have space for you, and it might even feel good if someone else goes before you and kind of warms you up. So thank you for joining. It's really great to see so many people on tonight after taking a couple weeks away. I wasn't sure if y'all would still remember that we did this. So cool. Energy felt really great tonight. Sit with it for just a couple seconds, a couple minutes after I close out of this. Ask if there's anything more. A really tangible thing to do is, what can I give you, body? Ask for a tangible step. You'll hear it. You might just hear a word. I would love to know. Send me a DM or comment on the post from today, what your experiences was like, and we will see you next week.